Hello and welcome back to Underlab. It's looking a little different around here, huh? How many years? It's not that long really, is it? Look, it was a big sandwich. In all seriousness, I've been super busy. With exciting prospects like the release of my game and the total collapse of human civilization at the hands of artificial intelligence on the horizon, I've not really had any time to make videos. But it'd be kind of crazy for Underlab to not talk about DELTARUNE Chapters 3 and 4, as we finally start getting the answers to the questions I asked so many years ago. The Roaring Night, or just the Night, a character shrouded in mystery, to the point it may even rival the likes of Gaster, the boogeyman of Undertale. Boogeyman might just be the perfect word for our knight in not so shining armour, let's say. First mentioned in Chapter 1, Seam, Jevil and King all allude to the existence of this character in some way. Most interesting is Jevil's quote, "The hand of the knight is drifting forwards." A quick interpretation of this line suggests that the knight is making their move, like a piece on a chessboard. Extremely appropriate given the recurring themes of kings, queens and knights throughout Deltarune. Just, the game being played isn't chess, it's a bid to begin the Roaring. An apocalyptic event that will spell doom for Darkeners and Lighteners alike. It's a good thing the Roaring Knight is surely alone in this wicked endeavour, right? Not quite, there's other pieces at play. We're drip-fed yet more hints throughout Chapter 2 of Deltarune, where Spamton hints that the knight is related to Communion. Though Spamton is known to go on wild tangents, this seems like one of the few occasions he's hinting at something greater. Communion is the Christian practice of sharing bread and wine in remembrance of Jesus Christ. Most notable is its religious connotation, likely a link to the church found in Hometown. Why use such a specific word? Could it perhaps have something to do with Noel, who sings in the church choir? Surely someone so innocent couldn't be connected to this terrifying presence. Noel, our soft-spoken neighbour who wouldn't harm a fly, who we can also mercilessly gaslight in Chapter 2 into becoming an ice-cold killing machine. Clearly, Noel has the potential to be something terrible if it was in her nature. Devastating ice magic bypasses our inability to slay foes. Maybe the apple doesn't fall so far from the tree. Maybe it isn't Noel we should be concerning ourselves with, but her family. A harsh and overbearing mother, an ill and frail father, his condition deteriorating within the hospital, and most curiously of all, a sister, missing. Nicknamed Des, which is short for December, a whole family of reindeer, themed around the motifs of winter, living in a Christmas-themed house. Let's keep Noel's relatives in mind for now as we move on to Chapter 3 of Deltarune. For the first time we encounter the Roaring Knight in person in Chapter 3, leading to an almost undefeatable boss battle. We're assaulted by attacks impossible to endure without the Shadow Mantle item found earlier within the level. Most of them revolve around the use of the Knight's Sword, a cruel and giant weapon that could give Cloud's Buster Blade a run for its money. When we're not getting destroyed by the equivalent of Guts Dragonslayer, we're attacked by an array of abstract abilities that seem to fragment and disrupt reality itself and what may very well be some form of magic. Exploding stars or snowflakes. While the resemblance isn't quite perfect, everything about the Roaring Knight is distorted in some way, altered from what it should be. It may just be a coincidence, but note how the Roaring Knight approaches us after we emerge from a plane of snow. Small, insignificant details by themselves, but they're starting to add up. And I'm sure that's just a pair of ornamental horns upon their helmet, and not antlers, right? Superficial details aside, you may wonder why it isn't more obvious that the Roaring Knight is one of the Holiday family if that really is the case. The answer is simple. That's quite possibly their former identity. Whatever the Roaring Knight is now, it seems to be something that transcends our understanding of lightness and darkness. For example, we see it within the real world, indicating it can manifest in either world, just like we can. Its appearance may very well be nothing but a vestige of its former self, clinging to its identity like some form of revenant. Or they may very well have become twisted by darkness itself. It could also be the form a Lightner is taking. Remember, our appearance changes while in the Dark World. The Knight resembles the feared and fabled Titans of Prophecy, beings of ancient evil that seek to end the world. Perhaps in some way they've become their harbinger, taking on their characteristics as they seek to plunge the world into darkness. During our fight with the Knight, we have the ability to act and hold our breath. This is an oddly specific act, and may hint at the true identity of our Roaring Knight. It's heavily implied Des is dead, with evidence of Noelle desperately searching for her, every December marked in her calendar, online searches for her name. While she could just be missing, perhaps her breath was stolen in her final moments, by drowning or extreme cold. Whatever it is, we have to consider why this specific act is available to us. And one more curious detail. Should we actually defeat the Roaring Knight in battle, our companions are knocked out, but not Chris. The Knight approaches Chris and lays their blade upon their shoulder, as if knighting them. They seem to almost respect Chris, someone whom, without the soul within them driving their actions, is as evil and irresponsible as can be. The two clearly have a connection, some joint desire to bring about the warring. There's something more startling than anything we've been over yet, however. In Chapter 4, upon opening Father Alvin's desk, we find an urn containing a hammer, likely the same wielded by Gerson, a returning character from Undertale. Susie comes to the conclusion that the Dark World can raise the dead, so the Dark World can bring back the dead in a fashion. Perhaps some don't come back the same. Perhaps some are shades or shadows consumed by darkness. It's telling that we're told such an explicit detail and know that Des is likely deceased. The Dark World may just be the key to bringing back Noelle's lost sister, though it seems unlikely she'll come back the same. So who is the Roaring Knight really? I think there's two possibilities. One could be that it's Des. They're back from the dead and now are intent upon terrorising the world of light. We've seen the coldness that can be drawn forth from the Holiday family's hearts on the Snowgrave route of Chapter 2, proving that if turned to evil, the consequences would be devastating. More than enough to wreak the havoc that we see the Knight is capable of. Going beyond that, we see how the Dark World distorts the reality above. The inanimate becomes animate, with thoughts, feelings and desires. Of course, it doesn't affect the living the same way. But a dead body is no longer alive. Still clinging to thoughts and aspirations, hopes and dreams, something about the Dark World corrupts that which succumbs to it and exacerbates their worst tendencies. Take Tenor from Chapter 3, our own CRT television that simply misses us. There's nothing inherently evil about them, but still they subject us to dangerous and life-threatening games to recreate what they've lost. The Dark World is a place steeped in mystery, its exact function unknown. But breaking and distorting what we know and love seems to be a consistent theme. Of course, it seems like there might just be a bit more going on with the Knight than the other antagonists we've encountered. Why are they so powerful and have such a starkly contrasting appearance? If it truly is Des, why didn't they manifest like Gerson did? In Undertale, we learn that should a monster acquire a soul, they'll become something horrifying. We see this happen with Azrael, the god of hyperdeath. Could they possess Chris's soul? The soul inhabiting Chris doesn't seem to be their own, given how they constantly reject it. This is more a guess than clear-cut fact, but it's worth noting the similarities between the Roaring Knight's abstract body and the form Azrael takes. Beloved sister, now harrowing phantom, mercilessly striking down all in their way and opening fonts to the Dark World. That's just one possibility. Another likely contender is another member of the Holiday family, Carol, Noelle and Des's mother. With a cruel and icy personality, she controls Noelle as an abusive parent might. That wouldn't be enough to incriminate her as an all-powerful shadow being, running about tearing open rifts to another world. However, there's clearly something more to this character. When she addresses Chris upon leaving, they address them as you in capital red letters. I'm reminded of Kara from Undertale, who address themselves the same way. If Carol not only knows, but is allied with this malevolent entity that seems to be present in both games, it's plausible that she is the one donning the dark raiment of the Roaring Knight. This would also explain their appearance in the Dark World, having transformed as other Lightners do. Finally, when they rest their hand upon Chris's shoulder, it's very similar to how the Roaring Knight lays their blade on their shoulder in the Dark World. Clearly, Carol respects Chris, and if Carol is the Roaring Knight, then it's clear what the Knight does as well. The Roaring Knight will no doubt be of great importance in the following chapters. If this theory is correct, it remains to be seen whether they can be swayed from the path of darkness. Of course, you typically play chess with two knights. Thanks for watching everyone. It's been an incredible amount of time since my last theory, and I know many of you have probably forgotten I even exist. As I mentioned at the start of this video, all of my time and passion has been going into the creation of my game, which I promise to reveal more about soon. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.